What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show, and this is down to my final stretch of my draft coverage and the guys that I'm looking at. So now I got 3 videos coming up that will lead into my not mock draft, and the one that you're going to be listening to right now is my sleepers in the draft. There are guys in this draft that are actual sleepers that are actually better than guys that are, I'm assuming, projected to go in the first round, but these guys, I haven't heard anything or anyone talk about these guys. So there are going to be some guys that I know for a fact when it comes down to it. There are some guys that I think might have been talked about, but again, I've been talking about one of these guys since, I think, for the past 2 years prior to this draft. So I'm going to start at the very top. The very first guy I got on here as a sleeper is Marcus Cox, the offensive tackle, the left tackle out of Kentucky. For some reason, he's not, he seems to be being missed when people are talking about the elite offensive lineman or the top offensive lineman in this draft class. And I'm not certain why. I kind of think I know why, but I'm not really certain why. And what I've gauged is that I think that people think that he's a liability against faster pass rushers, and I don't think that that's the case, because this year I saw him actually go against some of the pass rushers in this draft and do very well against them. James Pierce. James Pierce is a situational pass rusher, but he became even more situational when he went up against Kentucky, because Marcus Cox was basically just shutting him out. And Tennessee ended up moving him from the left side to the right side, and then he moved back to the left side. And James Pierce's sack against Kentucky was a blown blocking assignment by the guard. And Marcus Cox, I just don't get it. I mean, I think why people think that he's having issues against speed rushers is because I think that this goes for his intelligence that I think that he has. And I think that what's happening is that he's gauging he's gauging their speed and their strength before he actually understands what he needs to do against them. There were several times I saw this against Ole Miss. Jared Ivey, who's predominantly on the left side, on the right side of the right side of the defensive line, but the left side of the offensive line. Jared Ivey ended up being dominated so much by Marcus Cox that he had to move to the right side to sit up there and even make a play. So again, this is one of these things, and I've seen Marcus Cox against several key guys. Kyle Kennard, he gave Kyle Kennard fits. He gave Michael Williams and Jalen Walker fits. He even gave my guy Burn Sorrell and I think his name is Colin Stewart. He gave both of them fits. So Marcus Cox, I don't know what's happening here, but for some reason I don't see him being talked about when it comes to the offensive lineman in this draft. But again, Marcus Cox is my is my first sleeper. My next sleeper is a guy that I think that if you miss out on Travion Henderson, you can possibly get this guy and him pretty much be almost close to identical, not as identical because he has one flaw, but he can be just as devastating when it comes to actually making plays and actually be a big play guy himself. And that guy is Jaden Blue, the running back out of Texas. Again, this is a guy who sat behind some really good and great running backs and has learned how to play the game behind them. I mean, he was Bijan Robinson, Rashawn Johnson, Jonathan Brooks. He's been there the whole time. So the fact that you're talking about a guy who catches very well out the backfield and has the ability to run up the middle and to the outside and make big plays in the process. He did have some fumbling issues. I don't think that that's something that is a reoccurring thing, even though he did it in, I think it was like 3 or 4 straight games. But again, there is this time where you watch him and you're watching him and you're like, oh, this guy's really good. And we didn't get the full benefit of seeing him as often. I mean, we saw everything we needed to see, but he was also sharing time with Wisner in the backfield. So again, if you miss out on Jaden Henderson, this guy may be the next solid running back to go after when it comes to that. So Jaden Blue is is a sleeper for me. Tandon Holden, the wide receiver out of Oregon, he's the guy that I call Terry McLaurin 2.0. He's a guy that, due to the people that was at Oregon since he's been there, he kind of got lost in the rotation. He actually transferred from Alabama back when Bryce Young was there. Again, this could be an opportunity for Carolina to find something that could grow with Bryce Young as Bryce Young's career keeps going up. But Tandon Holden is a guy that when you needed big plays came about. If Ted Johnson was out of the game, they would then go to Tandon Holden, and Tandon Holden would have an impactful game. They played Ohio State twice. The first game he got kicked out. I think he accidentally spit on Denzel Burke and was kicked out of the game. But with that being said, this guy, like I said, I call him Terry McLaurin 2.0 because you don't really see the production, but when you watch the games, you see what he can be and what is going on. He was just a guy that was caught in he was caught with the personnel issue. You know, because it was just other receivers there. A good example was Troy Franklin was there along with Bo Nix. You know, Bo Nix's guy was Troy Franklin. So again, Tandon Holden was kind of missed in that. Then with Ted Johnson, it was the same thing. Ted Johnson was their everything wide receiver that Tandon Holden got missed. But when they needed him big time, he came up really big in games. And I'm sorry, when I watch this guy play, I get it. Like, this guy, he plays fantastically. I mean, a guy that has the diversity to be able to switch from a number 1 to a number 2 and still play well, and he can block on the run, on running plays. He does a fantastic job blocking on running plays. And so he has that level of aggression that does remind me a lot of Terry McLaurin. And for me, Tandon Holden, to me, he's Terry McLaurin 2.0, and that's why I'm putting him on my sleeper list. Next is Vernon Broton, the defensive tackle out of Texas. I know that a lot of people are talking about Alfred Collins, but I wonder how much of Alfred Collins' production is actually production taken away from Vernon Broton. When I watch Vernon Broton play, he's in the game a lot. He's in the game more than Alfred Collins is in the game. And he plays to the end of the whistle. Like, he does not stop. He has a constant motor that's going on and on and on and on and on. And he plays, like I say, he plays to the whistle. So he'll sit up there. He has the ability to stop the run and stop the run well. Not only that, he does have a pass rush ability also. And they mainly run like what looks like scheme gap control, but there are times where you can see that he'll roll off of an offensive lineman and make the play. And he, like I said again, the fact that he's on the field as often as he is and plays as well as he does, I do feel that a lot of Alfred Collins' production was given to him is actually Vernon Broton's production. And I'll also say this because I do think that the 45 and the 95 probably look similar to each other. So people are accidentally giving Alfred Collins the production. I understand people like Alfred Collins' size, but Vernon Broton, to me, I think he's going to be the long-term great defensive tackle when it comes to the NFL. The next guy is a cornerback that I didn't hear anyone talk about him, but he's a very scheme diverse guy, and he plays very well against top level talent every time you see him play. And that guy, they say his name is O'Donnell. I think it's Odinell. His name is Odinell Fortune, the cornerback out of South Carolina, and no, he's not my son. He's not even a family member. But Odinell Fortune, I think it's Odinell. I don't think it's O'Donnell. I think it's Odinell. I could be wrong, but I think it's Odinell. Odinell Fortune is number 3 in South Carolina. He wears the number 3 as the cornerback in South Carolina. This guy shuts players down. Against Missouri, he basically shut Luther Burden completely out the game. Not only that, he does a fantastic job in recovery because I think that Nick Emawari plays predominantly to his side. But what I noticed is that the plays that Odinell is making, to me, I think that Nick Emawari is being credited, even though Odinell is sitting up there and playing very well at the cornerback position. He shuts guys out. Not only that, there are times where there was one play, I can't remember if it was Kentucky or Texas or Georgia, where he locked down a wide receiver, because he also gave Matthew Golden fits too. He locked down a receiver and saw that the ball was coming, peeled off of his coverage, went into the end zone, and basically snagged the interception from the end zone after peeling off his coverage, and saw that there was a guy who has that level of vision when it comes to the passing game, and he's watching the receiver and the quarterback and can see where there's an opportunity for him to make plays. I'm telling you, this guy is really good. Like I said, I've heard people say O'Donnell. I think his name is Odinell. I could be wrong, but I think it's Odinell. But it's Odinell Fortune, the cornerback out of South Carolina. Last but not least is a guy I've been talking about on this channel for a while. He's a guy that I've said on countless occasions, I don't understand why people are underestimating, one, his ability. I mean, I get it because he doesn't have a lot of production because a lot of it was lost his 2 years in Tennessee. And he had a lot of, like, at Oregon, they said he had a lot of potential and stuff like that. But there were a lot of things to like about him. And that guy is Dante Thornton Jr., the wide receiver out of Tennessee. I like his game. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's 6'5", with 4.3 speed. That, you don't see that often in the NFL. And it's one of those things that when you watch him play, he will burn coverage very quickly. Not only that, now you will say that, I think it's due to Tennessee's offense and Oregon's offense that you don't see him doing a lot of crossing patterns. But there were times at Oregon where he would do a short route and then take it to the house. So this guy has the ability to be everything you want in a tall receiver that has speed associated to him. And I will say this. With Dante Thornton Jr., the ability he has, his size, his speed, his ability to catch the ball, it's very rare that you've seen him drop footballs. So, I mean, he goes out there and he plays very well and very hard. And it's one of those areas where when you see a guy who has that level of potential, you realize that you could be missing out on the biggest diamond in the rough that you can ever imagine. And for me, Dante Thornton is that. I will say this about Dante Thornton. And this is to everybody who's a fan of NFL teams. Don't be surprised if the Kansas City Chiefs take him in the first round coming towards the end of the draft. And the reason I'm saying that to y'all is because of this. Dante Thornton is what Andy Reid has been searching for since Terrell Owens. A big receiver, a big tall receiver with speed. He hasn't been able to find that since he's been there, and he's been trying to adapt with just having a guy who's tall but no speed associated to it. So you're talking about Kansas City now can snag a guy who is 6'5" with 4.3 speed to add to their already speedy receiving core. When you think about Rasheen Rice and Xavier Worthy, and to some extent, I guess when they finally get him on track, Sky Moore. So you then add Dante Thornton to that mix, you're going to be in a lot of trouble when it comes to Kansas City. Like I said, I need everybody to keep their eyes on it. Dante, don't be surprised if the Kansas City Chiefs take him in the first round. Don't be surprised. And I understand that there are other wide receivers that people have been talking about, but this guy fits Kansas City so well that I can see Kansas City taking him in the first round. We've seen Kansas City do stuff like this before. They took Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round when he was coming up. This guy, do not be surprised if you see Kansas City take him in the first round. Y'all tell me what y'all think. How do y'all feel about my sleepers? How many of y'all know about these sleepers? How many of y'all say, hey, yo, I wasn't expecting this type of thing, and now I'm going to go look at him? Y'all tell me what y'all think. Other than that, this has been your man, John Fortune, and it's been a Frustrated Fan Sports Show.